Alright guys, so today I have a video. I wanted to give you guys a detailed explanation on how you can go from a white hoodie like this and create something of your own, such as this or some of these other hoodies that I have out here. Really simple technique called ice dyeing. It's pretty much like a tie dye, but I wanted to give you guys just really detailed instructions on how to do this yourselves, because the number one comment I get when I show people the hoodies is they're like, that looks really cool, can you do it for me? But I'm like, it's really not that hard to do. There's a couple things that you'll need and you can make it happen at your own house. And let's go ahead and get in the video. Alright, what is going on guys? Hes here, collectivekicks.com. If you guys want to shop this week's top sneaker deals that I posted for you guys, check the link in the description. I curate that page every week. But also, if you guys are interested in buying any of the materials that I'm going to show you guys in this video, I will link them in the description for your guys' ease as well. There's lots of little things that make this process way easier that I wanted to share with you guys, some of the tips and tricks that I found. I've done about 7 dyeing sessions, maybe 8 different dye sessions with hoodies mostly, some t-shirts, but I wanted to give you guys some knowledge transfer of some of the things that I've learned from starting this process, and hopefully some of you guys can give it a try yourselves. I love it when you guys tag me on Instagram and Twitter. Let me know that you guys have tried it yourselves as well. It's super fun to do, really easy to do, and let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, I have 3 different types of hoodies here. These are my favorite 3 to use thus far. I've used a ton of different brands and a ton of different stuff, but this one from Nike is always on sale. I post them all the time for about $27. Retails $45 on this. Really great hoodie though. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I bought a dozen of these last time they were on sale, so I'd have extras to burn, but this is the hoodie right here. All white, just one little Nike swoosh on it. And this is the same exact hoodie. Basically, I just went and did the ice dye technique to it. So it's the white hoodie right here, $27. I'll link them in the description. Right now, I believe they're still on sale for $27. It's called the Club Fleece hoodie, and it's made of cotton, which is why it absorbs the dye super well. So this one is one of the best ones that you can use. If you really wanted to get risky, I have a tech pack version. This is $130 retail. So on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and you can see this is what the hoodie looks like right here. This is the exact same hoodie as this one. I dyed it with grays and orange to make it look like kind of this crazy effect that I got here. Same exact hoodie, but I got this one on sale for I think $70 or something like that, but they're usually around $100 still, kind of an expensive alternative when the other ones are only $27. So, but if you're on a budget, this is the best one you could buy. It's a Hanes hoodie, really simple, really clean. You can get these at Target and Walmart, usually online, as well as Hanes directly. But it's 100% cotton and it absorbs the dye really well, and I've used those on a ton of different hoodies as well. So that's the first step. Get a white hoodie or a white cotton item preferable. If you don't know if the material is dyeable, just do a Google search and see. So moving on, I wanted to give you guys just an overview from beginning to end what this process looks like. So I'll list off in the description all of the mandatory things that you need to make this hoodie happen. The first thing is soda ash. It's basically a white powder that you can buy off of Amazon. And you take the white item and you fill up a bucket, put that in with some soda ash and let it sit for 20 minutes. It's kind of a dye fixative. It allows the dye to stick to the white hoodie even better. Personally, I bought a mop bucket though with a wringer that was super helpful. If you're doing more than a dozen of these, I highly recommend using the mop bucket because it wrings out these things because it's super difficult to do. Which it brings me to the next thing that you need also is gloves, just rubber gloves. I'll link the ones that I got. I got some from Amazon as well as the rubber bands that you'll need for the next step. Wringing them out as best you can, and then you basically scrunch it up into a little design. I basically start from the middle and just scrunch it towards the middle. And then you take the rubber bands and just wrap it around it as many times. It should end up being a little disc like this big for a hoodie. And that's pretty much all you do to prep the hoodie. Just a note though, you want to do this on a clean surface, obviously. If you're using all the powdered dye on the same exact table, the leftover dye that you had is going to be absorbed immediately into the sweater. So I recommend getting some baby wipes or something and rubbing down the top to make sure it's completely clean, as well as paper towels. Both of those should be on standby. Another note is if you want more of a traditional tie-dye look, you have to do the little spiral thing from the middle. I like to just kind of push it together and bunch it together. And then that's what I end up rolling with because I like the fact that it's all crazy and marbled all over the place. 2 other things that you're going to need: cookie sheets or something that is basically a metal grid so you can place that on top of some sort of a bin. I have these bus bins that I bought from Amazon. Again, super simple, super easy to use. And the next step is to take some cardboard that you have lying around and wrap it around the item, tape it. The reason why you do this part is to hold the ice inside. Otherwise, when ice melts, sometimes it will just fall off completely and you'll lose some of your dye that way. So you definitely want to do this to contain it as best you can. And it brings you to the last step of this process. Definitely make sure you're wearing your gloves because anytime you're touching this dye, it's gonna really get on your fingers And it's like Kool-Aid. If you've ever used Kool-Aid, you pour it in the water and it explodes with color. It's dye. It's going to do the same thing. You're going to put the dye on next, and the dye needs to sit on as long as it can. 24 hours is what they recommend. A lot of people want to know where I get the dye from. I'll link it in the description. Dharma is a company that I've been using. They have a tremendous amount of colors. It's really, really crazy. The website is also really good. You can take colors and put it on a board and kind of just match them together and then buy them all at the same time. The other thing that's really helpful is they have a big color board, so you can actually look at the items and it says mustard or dirty mustard or whatever the color is, and then you can look on the board and see, because when you look at the powder, it doesn't translate exactly how it's going to look on the item, so it's good to get an idea of what the color actually looks like. Definitely highly recommended, and the dyes that they have are perfect. They're exactly made for this. You do not want to go too heavy with the dye. When the ice melts, if there's still clumps on top, that means you probably put on too much. So you definitely don't want to overdo it. I personally always overdo the dye, and one of the things that they actually recommend instead of using a spoon is to get them in little shakers and then use a shaker over top of it. I haven't done that as of right now yet, but I could see why they would want to do that, because it would preserve the dye. Save as much as you can for the next time. This is also the opportunity for you to be strategic. If you have a certain pattern that you want to go top to bottom, so let's say you want to do a rainbow effect top to bottom or even left to right, you need to look at your garment, and before you put the ice on, know that your hood's on the top and then the bottom part is on the bottom, and then you'll lay the dye across the ice in a vertical line or whatever it is that you want. But if you don't know where the hood is and you try to do vertical lines, it could end up sideways, or it's all over the place. So it's worth noting, if you are interested in trying to figure out where the dye is supposed to be applied, to make sure you remember where the top was and the bottom. Also really important is to remember which colors you use for that item, because you're going to be flipping it over and then applying the same colors to the backside most likely. So what we've been doing is taking those colors and setting them aside and having them bunched together. If you have similar ones that you're using, take a picture of them at least to know, because when you end up with 30, 40, 50 different colors like what I have, it's really hard to remember which colors you used to make that item. Plus, like if I wanted to recreate this, I'd have no idea, because I don't even know the colors that I used. So if you take pictures of the colors that you're using, it's probably the best thing that you can do. And then it's just the waiting game of waiting for the ice to melt. As I mentioned, once it melts, then you go ahead and flip the item, apply ice and apply dye again. And then once the dye is completely done, then it's the last part, which is basically rinsing it out and then washing and drying it, which are some critical steps to prevent any bleeding. So the first step is, when you're rinsing it out, use cold water. The second step is that you don't take the rubber bands out until you get as much dye out as you possibly can. So you're gonna squeeze the dye out of the item and wring it out with the rubber bands in place until it gets a little bit clear. It's not gonna be clear because there's so much dye, until it's a thinner color than what you started with. Then you can take the rubber bands out and continue to rinse out and squeeze out all the rest of the dye until it's a really faint color. At that point, you're gonna throw it in the wash. There's a special detergent that I've been using as well that's super important to prevent the color bleeding. Again, especially more for the whites. Just again, something you can get from Amazon. It's not super expensive and it goes a long way, so it's definitely worth buying. It will prevent you from ruining a lot of different items. And also, just so you know, like I was able to wash this hoodie with bright greens with my wife's hoodie that's bright orange, and it didn't bleed them together. So it's definitely great to be able to use, and you can do multiple items at the same time. Also, when you throw it in the wash, you're gonna wash it on hot. Then once it's done washing, we just do a quick cycle. And then I also have these color guard sheets that I throw in the dryer to help absorb more of the color, as well as the hand towel, and it absorbs all the extras and you're good to go. So you can see I can wear this item after it's been washed and dried, and it doesn't bleed through to my shirt underneath. It doesn't matter if I have a white shirt or whatever it is, it doesn't bleed. It will bleed a little bit if you wash it again on hot with whites, obviously. So don't wash dyed material with whites. You should know that from maybe grade school, but don't do that. Definitely not recommended. Other than that though, those are all the tips that I can think of to really help you guys be successful with this. I know it's a lot to go through. It seems like it's a lot, but it's really not that hard. I really hope that some of you guys are gonna give it a try, and tag me on Instagram and Twitter. Let me know how your guys' items come out, and hopefully you guys make some cool color combination. I've been having a lot of fun just trying to do lots and lots of different ones. At this point, I have a dozen hoodies myself, and it's just fun to be able to create different colors and create different things, especially for gifts for other people. And it's just fun to experience dyeing together with other people. Dyeing is D-Y-I-N-G, not cult dyeing, whatever. Lastly on this video, if you guys want to go to Dharma's website, pick out some of the colors that you guys want to see in future like eyesight projects, for even for myself. If you don't want to do it, leave some comments of color combinations you want to see, and I will see these comments and try to recreate some of the ones that you guys are recommending. I think it'll be fun. Give me some options and ideas of what to create, because there's so many different colors that you can combine together just to make some crazy looks. And I really like this one. This one's one of my favorites. I feel like this one's like the perfect one to go with these Sakai joints right here. So I don't know. That's maybe the inspiration. I don't really know what the inspiration was, but that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys for stopping by and watching. And have fun dyeing products out there. And we'll see you guys for some more videos soon. Peace, guys.